Hello friends, and welcome to Figure Study, where we are taking a look at Figma number 349, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, Samus Aran. Her head is slightly crooked to the side. I've been a fan of Metroid for a while. Could never really get into and complete the original Metroid, but I played a bunch of Metroid 2, played so much Super Metroid. Love the Metroid Prime series. The 3DS version remake of Metroid 2 is also great. And yeah, Samus is one of my favorite video game characters. And this figure is amazing. Like, I've never actually had a Figma figure before. This is my first and so far only Figma figure, but what's here is great. Much like the Storm Collectibles Cami that I looked at last time, I love how this figure is so effortless to pose. You just kind of move things and they go where you want them to go. Like, it just works and it's great. It's very, very cool. There are lots of little things that just kind of accommodate the poseability. I love Samus's look in most of the other games. Not a huge fan of her look in Fusion. I just don't like the Fusion suit. I prefer this more classic Samus look with the giant spherical shoulders. Everything I'm going to say about this design is for the suit design in the game, so it kind of carries over between that and the figure. But I love the mixture of colors here, where you've got this nice goldish metallic orangey color. It's more, I guess, more like a coppery, like a light coppery bronze-ish thing. It's not quite orange, definitely not gold, but not quite bronze, not quite copper. But it's a nice color. The metallic sheen is really great. And I love how it contrasts with the kind of duller yellowish color for the kind of middle part of the body. And that little bit of red for the chest plate and the head is also really nice. The green arm cannon definitely stands out. Not necessarily in a bad way, but it definitely doesn't match the rest of the outfit. But then her various outfits are so different that if this did match this outfit, then it would end up looking completely out of place in, say, the gravity suit, or the light suit, or the dark suit, or whatever. If they ever made a Figma of the dark suit Samus, I would buy that immediately. That is my favorite suit design out of the entire Prime series. Anyway, the sculpting is great. Again, I love the metallic here, but like, there's a lot of nice little details throughout here, and these translucent green bits that are in here, like kind of worked into the armor design, are so cool. It looks like the suit's glowing in places. And I know that's the point. That's why they've got like the metallic bits here, the metallic visor, the metallic bits in the shoulders. It's designed to look like lights on the suit, and it works really well. And it's very, very intricate sculpting throughout. There's even a lot of nice detail right in the small of the back here. It's almost like ornate looking. There's the underside of the blaster, which you barely ever see. That's got some nice sculpting there. Back boosters for what I'm assuming are the double jump and the screw attack. And that's both molded nicely, and I like the color separation and how you can see that kind of gunmetal-y dark, almost black of the boosters through the slits in the red armor there. There's some sort of musculature molded into the arms. Well, the forearm here, but only the bicep on this arm. The arm cannon, I know I'm all over the place, I'm sorry, but I'm just really excited about this figure. The arm cannon is the typical look for the arm cannon. It has the little lights going up the sides there, and there is a little bit of yellow for the barrel, and a little hole for a plug for like an effects part, but unfortunately this figure does not come with an effects part. That, I believe, is only the other M Samus suit that comes with the blaster effects, and that's a shame. And the shoulders, a lot of nice molding, color separation there. And again, I love the metallic green inside the black. It just makes it look like they're lighting up. And of course, the Telltale Samus helmet with the visor, the little pipes, and the little whatever that is, vent thing in the front there. I always thought it was interesting just how much Samus's helmet looks like a Metroid. Like just the shape and overall design, it's very reminiscent of a Metroid. I'm sure that's not a coincidence, but I don't know exactly the details behind it. Anyway, I also like how there's these other details in here, like the sort of inner suit bits, like these little black bits here and going up into the shoulders here to make it look like there is sort of an undersuit to it. And like this is the kind of material that's not as armored as the rest of her, but it's meant to more, you know, give to allow her to move better. Okay, so let's get to that poseability. She can move her toe up a lot, like breakage, up and down on the ankle, which is a great up and down. No rotation though, but there is a pivot that goes on that kind of sloped angle, much like a lot of Hasbro figures. I do think it's kind of funny though that she's got this, you know, space outfit made by alien birds, and it's got like a loafer heel. It's just kind of funny. Moving along, the knee bends a lot, and I love how there's like, the way that this is sculpted is actually really clever. There's a little bit of just an ever so slight, but you can kind of see how this slopes in just a little bit at the back of the thigh, and the back of the calf actually has this kind of inward divot that allows it to curl up and around and actually go ever so slightly around the thigh there. So that's really clever sculpting to make that knee bend really super deep. The hips, for better, I guess, poseability, better range, you can actually extend them out slightly. Doing that means that they get out of the way of the center mass of the body. So you can kick forward quite a bit, kick back actually you can kick back a lot and kick forward a lot if you pull the leg out like that. And when it's pulled out like that, this little bit of the hip piece actually moves out to allow you to bend the leg out more. So you don't get a ton of spread, but it still helps, because without it, it would just go out like maybe that much. So then you get a little bit more. As you've probably seen, because I've been messing with it throughout this video, the torso has quite a bit to it, where it's got the forward and backward range, and this little bit can come down to cover up the gap left if you arch back, and then it moves out of the way if you arch forward, side to side, and then plenty of twist there. For the elbows, for the blaster arm, you get a little bit more than 90 degrees just because of the way it's sculpted. For the non-blaster arm, you get a little bit more than 90 degrees due to how it's sculpted. I feel like they're about the same in range, so I guess good on them for making it even. I would have expected this arm to have a bit more of a range to it, but eh. For the shoulder bits, those can get out of the way so that you can bring the arms up. Granted, it breaks the sculpt a bit back there, but still can come all the way out. You do actually miss that. You get bicep swivel. Arms can rotate forward and back. Because of the mechanism in here, where this is kind of attached inside the shoulder, it doesn't look like it can really rotate all the way around. Which is a shame, but at the same time, it's fine. This is still very posable for being some very restrictive looking armor. And then the head can kind of shift forward, shift back, look up a bit, can turn. Oh, okay, the head. I actually had it positioned wrong. I'll get into that in a bit. There was a reason for it, but the head, as you can see, actually sits up a bit higher on the neck there, and it allows you to look down quite a bit, look up quite a bit, and I like that there's a little movable bit in there for the neck, and can turn, can tilt. A lot of nice range on the neck there. It's actually kind of a double ball joint thing, double barbell thing. Actually, if I pop it out, you can see what I'm talking about here. You've got ball joint going into the back of the helmet, and then this extra joint here So that gets you quite a bit of range. And then that just sits right in here. And this is another ball joint. So you've got quite a few joints in the head and neck. So with the Poseability covered, let's move Samus out of the way here so that we can look at some of the accessories. And one bonus that we'll look at later. So first off, she has the morph ball with a little peg in it so you can like peg it into a stand. It looks good, the sculpting on it is good, the coloring's good, the metallic-y oranginess is a great match for the suit. The metallic green in the middle makes it look like it's lit up, that's also great. But it's just a ball, you know, it rolls around, which is fine, that's what it does in the game, so kudos for the realism, I guess. But it's just a ball, it's not really anything special to me. I guess they kind of had to include it as an option, but honestly, if given the choice, I would have taken blaster effects over this. It looks good, it's made well, it's just not a particularly exciting accessory. Let's bring Samus back in here so we can look at the other bits that actually plug into the various parts of the figure. She has a open end for the arm cannon for presumably firing missiles, but it could be for like other beams. I do kind of think it'd be cool if you actually had swappable blasters, swappable arm cannons that were in the different shapes and configurations for the different beams, but that would have been a lot of extra cost. But to switch this out, you just yank the end off the arm cannon and plug in. Do this off camera, I guess. That was a tight fit. Okay, so then you plug in the other end for the blaster, and now it looks like it's either firing or getting ready to fire a big missile. Next is the options for the other hand. Here you can see she's got a fist, which is sculpted well, and has the little translucent bit on the back there. Pop that out, and pop in a sort of relaxed pseudo holding something hand. And also, I didn't cover this before because I'm silly, but you can do the you can rotate the wrist and it's got this kind of bend to it. And like with the Storm Collectibles Cami and other figure arts stuff and Figma and whatnot, you can kind of rotate things so that you get a slightly different angle, like up and down, back and forth, on how the hands rotate at the wrist. Pop that back out. And she has a splayed open hand, which presumably works well for if you want to have the arm cannon going and have her like reaching across, presumably. Maybe. Thought this would work better. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. And then of course there is the best one, the thumbs up. So you can totally do the Samus approves of this figure. And I'm really into that. But there's one other thing. Before I get into it, I want to stress, this is not an accessory that comes with this figure. It's not even technically an accessory. I bought the Figma Zero Suit Samus when she was on sale a few months back, and I didn't really have any interest in the Zero Suit figure itself. I just wasn't into it in general, but there was one very specific reason why I got the Zero Suit Samus, and then promptly sold her off. And that is because you can get a non-helmeted Samus head with little swivelable ponytail, and she comes with swappable faces, but I sold off the figure, so normally you'd pull out the front of the hair, pop off the face, and so on, but that's not what I'm going to use. It's going to stay like this. I should probably glue that hair into place. The reason I did this, you can probably tell, is because you can pop off the helmeted head and remove the little neck piece here. And this is why the neck ball was a little bit of a thing that I was dealing with, and why the head wasn't entirely in place properly, because when I pulled this off and then tried to pop it back on, I wasn't getting it to sit quite right because the inner arm was like pushed in much further. But anyway, You've got the Samus helmeted head there. And now what we do is take the unhelmeted head and plug that right in there. Maybe pull it up just a little bit. And there we have the unmasked Samus, and that's just fantastic. I love that. I absolutely love that. It's so good. As an added bonus, you could probably tell from the thumbnail, but the kind of grippy hand, not the splayed open hand, but the one that looks like it could hold something, actually works pretty well if you just nestle the bar of the neck joint in the thumb there, and that actually holds it really well, and you can have her holding the helmet. And there's Samus unhelmeted, holding her helmet, and I love how that looks. Yes, I did have to buy another figure just to get that head and then sell that figure off separately, but I don't care. I love how this looks. I love the options it gives you. This alone has been worth it for me. And should also mention I bought the Metroid Prime 3 suit Samus for an aftermarket markup before they opened up pre-orders for re-release of this figure, so that was cool. Anyway, belly aching about price stuff aside, here she is with a standard Transformers Deluxe. For a more standard 6-inch scale, there we go. For more standard 6-inch scale, here she is with Black Series Clone Commander Kenobi. And here she is with the Duck Tank. So that is going to do it for the Figma 349 Metroid Prime 3 Samus Aran, or Aran, or however you pronounce her last name. I adore this figure. She's a simple pleasure to pose. Like, I love that you don't have to fiddle too much with the parts to get things to go where you want them to go. There are some little restrictions here and there, but really it's fine. Technically, what I've got here is not the stock figure. This is, you know, a modification brought about by a piece from a completely different figure, but I don't care. This has totally been worth it. It's one of my favorite video game characters of all time, represented in a glorious, glorious action figure form. And I don't even care about the markup. It absolutely would have been nice if I had known that the re-release was coming, so I could just, you know, get this figure at a normal price. But while I am a little bit bummed about paying more, I don't regret it. But that is enough of my rambling about the Figma 349 Metroid Prime 3 Samus. What do you all think of this figure? If, per se, we were going to get a Figma of any other Metroid character or Samus suit or anything like that, what would be your choice? As I said, my preference, personally, I would absolutely jump at the chance to get a Figma Dark Suit Samus. Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all, while it's still an option. Thank you everybody for watching, and remember, art is more than meets the eye.